Hello everybody, Rollemule here. I am working on the third of the Race-A-Day series videos, and evidently it's a series, so that's kind of depressing because that means that I can no longer call it a thingamajiggy, because that's not what it is. So I actually had quite a bit of difficulty with this race, because unlike the last two, it's a lot more turning-based, which isn't so easy for this car, because it's more based on just direct power and crashing through the rest of the cars until it gets to the front. So I actually, by the time I did this race, had to reconfigure my controls, because the way they were set up, one of the two keys that let you stick more firmly to a turn left and right, one of them wasn't easy to reach, and the other one had this annoying tendency of being right next to the speed boost key, which would not be what I want to press when I'm trying to make a turn. So I finally got to the point where I reconfigured those and made it much more convenient to be dealing with that, and I think that is a lot of what helped me get through this race, is that I started getting a lot more comfortable with those controls. So by this point in the race I've actually gotten to first place, but unlike the other races, it's not as important to just have gotten into first place, because it's quite easy for me to lose that first place in this race. So I'm a lot more concerned this time around about keeping it, for that reason of Blue has been keeping on my tail pretty much the entire time, and so at any given moment can get past me. And also, since I'm so busy turning, I tend to be closer to the sides, which makes it easier for the other cars to use my own strategy against me and just kind of smash me into the wall. And that is actually where a lot of my power ends up going throughout the race, is that I end up crashing into the wall so much more than I do in the first two races. The one thing I like to do to recover is that normally you can't use speed boosts that much on this race because you're always turning, and they end up being more detrimental than helpful. But at that last stretch, it's actually really useful. You can pull in, getting a notable increase in your position right before the lap changes, because there's a huge long stretch right there that's great for using speed boost. So once again, I'm in first place, though that doesn't really mean anything for now, because at any given moment, as you can see by the check sign behind me, the cars are able to keep right on me and be ready to come back at any moment. So at this point, with that low power, I'm actually getting kind of nervous that I'm going to crash out right before the end of the race, because part of what took me so long to get this video is that I spent hours working on getting a race where I actually got through, just because I keep getting most of the way through the race and then crashing out and dying because it takes that long for my power to wear down this far. But as I'm approaching the end of the race, I'm so far surviving, though it's getting really low, and Blue and Yellow both pull ahead of me at the last minute. But I'm managing to survive. I use a speed boost to try and get past them, but still get stuck in third place. And at this point I actually thought that I wasn't going to continue, but apparently as third place you actually continue to the next race, so this was my winning race. And then just as a little view of what took me so long, I have a nice little death sequence here. I'm pretty sure I've gotten 9 explosions recorded, and I don't even think that's necessarily all of them. This is what I was going through with this race. I would get to the last couple laps and then crash into the wall, get shoved into the wall, accidentally use a speed boost, and blow up and lose all of the progress. So this race got very frustrating. It took so very long to get a good recording of it. I'm very unhappy with this race, just in that it is incredibly not designed for this type of car, and that was actually a case of I was trying to pull a tighter turn and I accidentally pressed the speed boost button and was shoved into that wall irreparably. That's a fun word. So yeah, this is what took me so long to get the video going. See you guys next time. DFTBA.